Let's get some price picks in today, guys. I did manage to cash a 6 flex on tennis last night, but honestly, it has not been a great week. You could see here the cumulative profits over time. Spreadsheet always in the description. Was a good peak at 360 units, and I lost the past couple 3 days down to 333 units. Then got a nice little spike last night because of this tennis pick. As for the picks from the actual video, I'm going to find them here. They did not go well. Let's be honest here. I went with Kyrie Irving on the under 6.5 assists. He had 6 by the first quarter and then ended up getting 4 more throughout the game. So Kyrie actually popped off with a double-double last night. Points, assists, got everything. Kevin Durant was a bit of a blowout game in this Lakers game, but honestly, it was Bradley Beal and Devin Booker that kind of took charge for this Phoenix team. So he also did not cash. So 0-2 on last night's picks. But tonight, I have some nice value that I found on this early board. We're going to start it off with Victor Wembanyama on the over 31.5 points plus rebounds. I was looking at the PRA, which was just set at 34.5, but literally just got bumped. So 31.5 points plus rebounds is also good. We can take a look at it on OddsJuice where I found it in the first place. So minus 123 juiced towards the over 55% likeliness for this prop to hit. And on props.cash, we could see some other books also have juice towards that over on the 31.5. So PointsBet, Caesars, and DraftKings has all the way juiced to minus 140. BetMGM has him at 32.5 already. So that is a good indicator that this line might get bumped, even though we're looking at his game logs right here. 14 out of 32 games he has cleared this. You guys have to understand the Spurs are up against the Hornets tonight, who are 25th in every category here, points, rebounds, and assists. We're focusing on the points plus rebounds tonight, but it's still good to see 25th in every stat. Of course, we all know how this Hornets team has been this season. Now, one thing to consider is LaMelo Ball might be back, but I don't think it's going to affect this line too much because right now the spread is set at minus 2.5, favorable to the Spurs. They are playing at home tonight. But even with LaMelo back, it's not like the Hornets are going to come out here and blow out the Spurs and then Wemby's going to get less minutes or something like that. It's going to be a tight game whether LaMelo is here or not. So on Wemby's points plus rebounds, if we actually check him at home, he does have slightly better splits where he's cleared this 53% of the time rather than the 44% of the time in general. Wemby does thrive in these weaker matchups. The last time they played the Detroit Pistons here just 2 nights ago, he dropped 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. So triple-double there. That would actually not cash to PR, but it would cash to PRA. But you can see even in this Portland game, he dropped 30 points and 6 rebounds. He is going to have an easier time tonight versus the Hornets, especially because of how weak they are defensively. Even in these tougher matchups like Cleveland and Milwaukee, he has cleared these at 34 and 36 respectively, and then comes like somewhat close in the recent games. So I'm liking the averages on this stat, but I'm mainly loving is that this game is expected to be tight, and it's going to be an easier matchup than a Cleveland or a Milwaukee. Of course, they are up against the Hornets. So Victor on the 31.5 points plus rebounds is the first play. The second play is going to be on James Harden, and we're going to grab his under 9.5 assists. I know people hate taking unders, but that is where the value is tonight. James Harden under 9.5 assists. We have him juiced at minus 122 or 55% likeness to go under. If you're grabbing his over, you're essentially giving yourself a 45% chance of that hitting. Why would you ever do that? So we're going to check him on props.cash, what I'm looking at here. And in general, you could see his splits are not that good because he only hit this 38% of the time this season. But you have to consider a good chunk of these games at the beginning of the season were with Russell Westbrook kind of sharing the floor on that starting role. So you can see more recently his averages are still high. Now that works against us, yes, but you could see the juice on every single sportsbook is towards the under, and I showed you the fair line for him was at about 55% likeness to hit. If we take some other things into consideration, they are playing away tonight versus the Grizzlies. Still a -8 spread now that Ja's gone. The Grizzlies are pretty much going to go back to their old ways here. So Harden is one of those players with worse away splits, has only cleared his 4 out of 15 times. And these are recent games too with his main starting role. So I am liking this under 9.5 on James Harden as the second pick. Now the last pick is going to be a great one. It's going to be a push potential one, but it's going to be on Saddiq Bey on his over 6 rebounds. Pretty much nothing I don't like. I'm really loving this pick, so we're going to take a closer look on props.cash. So he is set at 6.5 on the sports books. That is why we're getting him at 6. And you can see the juice on the sports books. All of them around minus 140, but FanDuel actually has him kind of low at minus 122. This is another play we flagged on OddsJuice, and what we have him at is essentially a 48% chance that he goes over 6.5 rebounds. So why is that good? Because we're getting him at 6. So not only do we get that push potential, we get still a decent chance that he actually clears the lines. So we have a very good push plus win potential. If you check his alternative odds here, his over 5.5 is set at minus 192. So I know that might not mean much for you, but if you translate minus 192 to implied probability, there's about a 66% chance that Saddiq Bey at least gets 6 rebounds. So I am liking that to start. The second thing I'm liking about this prop is the general splits. So 64% of the time this season, pretty close to that 66% I just said. He has at least pushed this line, so always great to see. Then to actually clear it, he has actually hit this 58% of the time this season. So pretty decent start on the splits. Tonight, the Hawks are playing at home where the spread is at -5.5. So it shouldn't be a crazy blowout game or anything. Should be relatively tight, high pace game with a lot of points and a lot of rebounds, as you could tell by the Pacers. I mean, every time there's a Pacers game, the total is going to be higher than normal. It's set at 252.5, which essentially means Vegas is projecting around 250-ish points for this game. Comes with a lot of shots, a lot of scoring, and a lot of rebounds. Also, because the spread is not crazy high, we could project kind of decent minutes or around average for Saddiq Bey here. So I'm liking the spread and total. Now, how about the matchup versus Indiana itself? They are 15th in rebounds allowed. But if we took a look at how Bey performed versus the Pacers this season, in November, he did actually get 10 rebounds. And most recently, in January of this year, he only got 4 versus them. But I was checking some game logs and checking how Bey has been playing recently. Ton of minutes. Look at this, 37, 38, 36, at least 32 minutes in all these recent games, all the way up to 40. I mean, these are crazy minutes for us. That is going to really help us hit this rebounds prop. And in the most recent game where he only got 30 minutes, that is when he got the 4 rebounds. So if he gets closer to that 34 to 38 minutes, I could see this with a higher probability of hitting. And as I showed by the spread, I don't think this game is going to get too out of hand. So I am expecting more minutes for the starters. And just to show you, he is capable of even doing this on less minutes. Last time they played Indiana, he only got 31 minutes and still got 10 rebounds. So I'm liking this prop in general, and the more minutes he gets, the better off he's going to be. And there's more things pointing towards him getting more minutes tonight. It's this injury report right here. Trae Young, game time decision. Clint Capella, game time decision. That is great for us. That's going to make the game even tighter if they both don't play, if one of them doesn't play. But I did check, and they actually are both probable. So Clint Capella and Trae Young's shoulder are probable in advance of Friday's game. So I do think they will likely play, but if they don't, of course, that's going to really help Bey's line. And even if they don't play, I think there's enough evidence that the over 6 is still a good prop. And I haven't shown you guys how he plays without DeAndre Hunter. In the games without DeAndre Hunter, there has been 2 games where he has not cleared this line. He has hit it in 9 games, pushed it in 1, and then lost it in 2. That is another great look for us on this over 6 rebounds. And then let's take a look at some minutes projections just to end it off. He averages 32.6 minutes, but as I showed you recently, guys, he's been getting at least like 34 to 38 minutes. So let's bump him all the way to around 32 minutes. I think that's very reasonable for tonight, to 38 minutes. And he has cleared this 73% of the time this season. I'm really loving the Saddiq Bey prop on the over 6 rebounds. And as I'm filming this, guys, look at that. James Harden bumped to 9 assists. So when I'm filming these videos, I'm trying to find you guys the best value on the board at the moment. And as I said, there was value on James Harden's under 9.5 assists, which is why Prizepicks bumped him down to 9. You're getting a lesser line if you're grabbing the under now. So obviously this James Harden pick is no longer good. I like that at 9.5 assists. 9 is completely different. I'm still going to leave it in the video because I do think there's some educational content there. But we're going to remove James Harden as a pick. These are the 2 picks I would go with for tonight. Throw them in a 6 flex, as I always say. Victor Wemby on the over 31.5 PR, and then Saddiq Bey on the over 6 rebounds.